Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
Good evening, Maple Leaf fans. Welcome back to another episode of Leafs Unfiltered post-game. It's been a while, so we're happy to be back with you here. Caroline, co-host as always. Welcome back to a post-game show, Caroline.
Welcome back. Big win tonight. We're sort of used to doing these post-game win shows now.
That's all we know. That's all we know.
I know.
We don't know what it feels like to do a post-game show after they take an L because they don't do that very often anymore.
Not really. No, this is a team.
Yeah. I think that's kind of very appropriate for what we saw tonight. Just a kind of a good team effort, top to bottom. Maybe not the most exciting, kind of a low event game. And probably everyone was freaking out after we were down 1-0, and that goal that, typical Leaf goal against, where it's like puck just finds its way into the net, and it's like, oh, here we go again. But I don't know, the way this team plays, they don't get rattled. They don't fall too far behind. They play well enough defensively, and they just don't take the same chances that they have in the past, where they'd probably be scrambling to try to get back into the game. They're just a more patient, tactical team right now. And it's fun to see the results, even if the actual game's not all that entertaining.
Yeah, I would take a win over an entertaining game any time of week.
Oh, yeah.
And I also think that Berube really lets them hear it when when the team's not playing the style that he's looking for. First intermission, second intermission, obviously some words were said because they came out playing a little bit different and, a little lineup shuffling there in the third and really got things going for us.
For sure. And it's nice to see, the guys who you need to step up in a game like that, where obviously Nashville, hasn't been a very good team. So you would hope that you could, not only compete with this team, but probably get the win. And you could see just the shift in kind of how they just took over the game. And it was the top guys. It was the core four that kind of did most of the work there. Obviously, Marner with 3 helpers, Matthews 2 goals, Nylander 1, almost a JT empty net goal, to have basically all the core 4 on the board in some way or fashion. So it was a fun game to see and see all the big guys kind of do their thing. And Woll was solid when he needed to be. Didn't have a ton of work, but he made some pretty big saves as well.
Yeah, and I think you've said that's one of the biggest keys to the Leafs' success is the core 4 firing. And we've been seeing that in spades these last couple games. And with Matthews back, it's just compounding on the success that we're seeing from them. So I think that really fires up the room. They set a strong precedent for strong play. And it's nice to see that they're making their money. They're making those paychecks count.
Yeah, no doubt. I think obviously there was worry early in the year with the play of Matthews. Was he injured the whole year and playing with something, or was the captaincy kind of, he was overwhelmed by the by the responsibility, but looked like it was more injury related than anything else, because even his first game back, I didn't think he looked bad, but there was some rust. But his last 2 games, he looks like he's kind of pretty much all the way back. And I thought he played a great 2-way game tonight. Yeah. And, probably that second goal for sure was one that probably not too many other players in the league get. He undressed the D-man and then just kind of had the control. Obviously, kind of got bailed out by Saros trying to go with the premature poke check. But, credit to the goal scorer, because not that many guys can do what he did tonight.
Yeah, sticking with it, beating the D-men, beating the goalie. I think I was glad to see him. I really hoped he got that. I was looking for that hat trick.
Yeah,
sure
it came
the
close.
team came very close. A little bit of a gaffe there by Stamkos in the final 40 seconds.
Yeah,
Kind of
Stamkos.
ate away some time.
He looks awful. I don't know what the
awful.
hell. I guess at this point with how bad Nashville is doing, I'm sure they're all fed up and they're just close to the point of they're just going to mail it in. But he didn't have a shot on net, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah.
And which is kind of surprising. He usually really performs when he's playing in Toronto.
Yeah, for sure.
Hometown guys from Markham. I think he still has residence there. I put money on him as anytime goal scorer at 3.3, which I thought was a little bit steep for the amount of production he's had so far this year.
That's pretty good value in theory.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of bad value. I thought he would have been more, I don't know. I guess I'm not exactly sure how many goals he's had so far this season. Do you know that?
Not offhand. I don't think he's doing. He's obviously not having a great year. And let me just quickly look at. He's got to have no more than 7 goals. 7. Yikes.
So he's okay. Yeah. So that's probably accurate then. That 3.3.
Yeah, seems about right.
Anyway,
he just looked terrible tonight. Probably the best value would have been to take the Ryan O'Reilly or Luke Shen goal. The former Leaf coming back here. That's usually a gimme, but maybe not. Maybe not against this Berube coach team anymore. You can't just bet on the former Leaf coming back and banking on a goal. Not anymore.
These days, best value for anytime goal scorer is Matty Nyes. The books haven't quite caught up to the production.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that he's not on the first line, things might slow down a little bit for him. But he's been a really good steal for anytime goal scorer.
Well, he's getting a power play one time now. So that also ups his opportunities. So for sure, he's a good choice there.
Yeah.
But I thought what was the most impressive. He was
on line 1. Sorry. He's on the first.
He's been on line 1. Yeah, he hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Been with either Matthews or
Nylander,
whoever Marner was playing with. He was always line 1 so far anyways.
Yep.
I think some of the things that have been impressive to me is just some of the depth guys too. Obviously they're not getting on the scoreboard, but the Mintons, the Dewars, Little Rents, these guys just play good sound hockey and just feel like great fits for how Berube wants to play. I've been really impressed with Dewar. I know most people would be like, well, he hasn't scored a goal. He's not doing anything out there. But anytime he's on the ice, he's just kind of either throwing hits, he's getting pucks out, he's making safe plays that kind of keep them from, having the puck remain in their zone, the D zone. And I just kind of like what I see from him. He's been really good. He's a very tenacious type player and gritty. I've liked his game. I thought Fraser Minton was really good tonight too.
Big time.
Yeah. They're going to have some problems soon because they got Max Domi and Max
Max is coming back. I know.
Right.
It's going to take some real soul searching to make these new roster decisions. Which we'll get into.
I've got one guy who I will volunteer to come out of the lineup. You know who it is?
I know who that
might know who it is?
Be. Is it Mr. Can't Stay on His Skates?
How many times did he fall today? I even had to tweet this video of this small little girl kind of walking with a candy in her hand and she's taking 2 very careful steps and then just falls down. I'm that's basically Nick Robertson after carrying the puck up the ice for more than 1 second. He always falls down.
No, it's bad. Yeah, he needs to go to some skating camp, some skating school.
Yeah, call up Gary Roberts and get into gym. Get into gym, bud.
Is that what you think it is? That he's just his
in part.
Yeah,
in part. He's just not very He's not a powerful guy. I don't know if it's lower body, upper body, both, but he gets knocked off the puck too easily.
Yeah,
Anytime he basically tries to initiate contact, he's the one who falls down. Like that's blatant evidence of a guy who just isn't cut out to be an NHL hockey player.
Yeah.
Like,
No. Yeah. But they've been pretty faithful to him recently. Like,
yeah.
He's been a third line kind of, he's been a third line lock for a while.
Yeah,
He's
he's been getting that regular ice time. I think some of that is obviously injury related. I mean, as we were saying, when the Maxes come back, I can't imagine he is still playing like every night. There's no way.
Yeah, like Fraser's Minton's not going anywhere that I can see.
Probably not.
Grabankin, he hasn't been producing as much. Like you're not seeing him get the assists, get the goals. But he is,
and you won't probably, yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's an argument to be made for him getting dropping down. But at the same time, he plays that Berube style of hockey that we love.
Yeah.
He gets into the corners. He's a fan favorite.
He's,
he also won the KHL.
Great quote.
Great quotes. Quote machine.
Yeah.
He also won the KHL championship last year, which you always got to like guys with that know how to win, that have a winning culture. Sure. And I do think that he does project that. Like he's a positive guy.
Yep. He's got the aura. Yeah.
I don't think he has Uber though, which is kind of funny to me.
Yeah, he's just like a guy who like you would think eventually might get eaten up by the Toronto market, but then he might just be the perfect guy for it because he's so clueless in terms of the fishbowl that Toronto hockey is, a hockey player in Toronto.
Yeah.
But like he's like walking out like the main street, like Bay Street after the game and just hanging out with fans. Like eventually you're probably going to be like, yeah, I might go out the,
like a
employee
exit
or something, the underground parking lot, however the guys exit typically, he might have to do that eventually.
It's so good though. And like his weakish grasp on the English language just makes him even more endearing. The words, what was
the back check, forecheck, paycheck?
Yeah, but he's like in the dying minutes of the game, like I kill guy, they kill me, it's business. Kill is an interesting word. I'm sure that's probably one of the first, words that he probably knew.
And he's obviously a hockey player, just kind of acclimating to hockey in North America. So he kind of knows the right buzzwords: kill, paycheck. He obviously has been around the right players. Win, yeah. No, I mean he's fun. Like I think when the Maxes come back, I mean I think right now he's not playing, so I would think Alex Nylander is the first to get put on waivers, which is kind of tough. I would have liked to see him get a little bit more playing time, but he hasn't been good, and you can't justify him being in the top 12.
He's very much a guy that's out there to be out there, bit of a vanilla type player. You see him a little bit on the ice, like he does have flashes of looking a little bit like Willie. Like, have you seen that? He does have some nice stick work. Good skater, but he's just a little bit out of the play, and I don't know. Hasn't produced
he brings for sure. He brings all the bad elements that William Nylander brings, but he doesn't bring in enough of that good element, right? Where just that dynamic, like when the puck is on his stick, he could go coast to coast and her make a great play and her end up, scoring goals, and not too many other players on the ice can. You just don't have that level of, elite offensive capability that obviously Big Bro has. So unfortunately for him, I think being a NHL forward on a contending team for sure is not in the cards for him. So he's probably first out. But I think Minton hangs around longer than Grabankin. Maybe it's even a permanent position for him in the lineup. But Then you also have like camp coming back in 2 weeks or whatever. So
yeah.
again, feels like it has to be a trade at some point to clear up room and also shed some payroll to allow them to keep some of the guys that might be more deserving.
Well, one of the nice things about Nylander is that he could have been picked up by an NHL team now all season long. We picked him up, so hopefully he will clear waivers. And
good chance he does, yeah.
Good chance he does. Yeah, and so, you know, if he just drops down to the Marlies, he's eligible to be brought back up. But, you know, he's got, 3 games that he's now been in Leafs uniform for? Maybe just 2?
Yeah, 3, probably at least 3. Yeah.
So
I don't think he's played a third period yet, though. I don't think Berube's had him on the ice for any third periods that I can recall. So clearly not a favorite of Chief.
No, he doesn't scream to me favorite of Chief.
No.
The way he plays. But so I think we need to discuss Reeves, though. His first game back in 18 days after serving that 5-game suspension. Seems crazy that it was 18 days that he was out. Like, this is definitely the slowest point of the Leafs season.
Yeah.
That last 2
There's like 2 weeks in a row where they had only 2 games in a week. So there weren't too many games for them over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy that it took that long to go through the 5-game suspension. Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're back to typical back-to-back Leafs hockey, I think, right?
Friday, Saturday. We got
after a Wednesday, Monday. Like, that's
I think that's going to be. I assume that's going to be every week for the Maple Leafs. It's either 4 games or 2.
I hate it.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah. Not unfair. Yeah. The NHL is out to get us for sure. So you brought up Revo. Did you see anything you liked from him, or was it more of a he was there but didn't really do anything?
I'm gonna go with the second one. I'm gonna lock in the second.
Yeah. He's just I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously he doesn't get a lot of ice time, nor should he. Yeah. But when you're in that role, like you're a 4th line forward and you know you're only out there to be a shit disturber who's going to knock some guys over, you know, and cause a little bit of a stir, get the momentum for your team, bring the energy to the bench. When you don't do any of that, like, you're almost not worth playing. And I've been kind of a big proponent of Revo, because I do think he has those intangibles, but really, aside from maybe 1 or 2 games this year, he hasn't brought that. Like, I don't know if he's being told by Berube and the coaches, like, lay off the clown shit, you know, like, don't go be trying to take guys' heads off. That's not the kind of game we want to play here. We need you to play a disciplined game, but, you know, either we don't trust our PK, which, I mean, this year they probably should because it's been pretty damn good.
Totally.
But perhaps the communication to Reeves has been, don't do anything dumb or you won't play. So maybe he's being more careful, but obviously the hit on Nurse would suggest, and maybe not all the time is he doing that, but he doesn't seem the same, like, physical, like taking runs at guys like he was in the second half of last season.
Well, let's 2 things. He's gotten a little bit older. So, you know, he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's 34, 35 years old. But secondly, I was surprised by his comments sort of in response to what Nurse said, calling him a bit of a dirty player, that, you know, he went out there looking for the head hit. What Reeves said was that he is trying to inflict pain when he gets on the ice. And I thought that choice of words was very interesting. And I think that if he is saying those things, you know, a week after the suspension was called, we've seen him out, you know, he's been playing games all season so far. That is clearly something that he's been told to do. He's not going to go and say that roguely.
Good point.
In a press conference. So I don't think he's been told to scale back, but I just think he's maybe not as effective, or he's not getting as many opportunities.
I think it could be that, because, like, I think he also added in that answer, he's like, if anything, I'm going to do it more or whatever in terms of being physical and more violent. And that did translate to tonight's game. I mean, maybe he didn't feel there was anyone on Nashville that he could either pick a fight with or go after. But, we've said it before, I think there's probably only 5 guys, maybe fewer in the league that will actually drop the gloves with Ryan Reeves, but he's got to be doing more, or he's got to be more visible.
Agitating and
right. Like it's the hitting. Yeah. Like if he can't find someone to drop the gloves with, it doesn't mean he just has to do cardio every time he's out there. He's got to find guys to hit. Like that's kind of what he's out there for. That's his MO.
Still no fights this season.
I know.
Crazy. Yeah.
It is wild. It is wild.
Yeah.
It's not obviously he missed the last 5 games, but he still played about 13, 14. So to not have one fighting major is very un-Revo like, that's for sure.
Yeah. So who gets the belt tonight for you? I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter drop or Instagram.
I have not. No, I have not. So let's do this quickly before someone in the comments ruins the fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go for, I got to give it to the captain. I got to give it to Austin Matthews. I thought he played a great game. Obviously, the 2 goals to highlight, but I thought he was, hard on the puck. He was good defensively. I just liked his 180-foot game.
Yeah. I think that's probably where it's going. I guess a backup contender could be Woll, but I think Woll's gotten his, his belts before. Also Minton had a pretty strong game. I think he did. You said 7 shots on ice. My box score here is showing 5, but maybe this is
only 5. Okay. I oversold it. Or actually, maybe I was looking. I think he had like a ton of hits too. Oh yeah, he had 7 hits. He had 7 hits. Yeah,
that's amazing.
5 shots on goal, 7 hits.
This guy is not going anywhere.
And Austin Matthews, 7 shots on net.
I know. That's
buzzing.
Yeah, he's back. Pappy's back.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, and obviously you'd probably give consideration to Mitch Marner now of Team Canada, which we will get to in a bit, talking about the 4 Nations tournament and the teams being announced today. But he was kind of all around the puck and then seemed to get a little bit of that extra jump when Berube said, okay, Mitch, you get to play with Austin Matthews for a bit now. And then Mitch is probably
got all fired up.
Jumped and kicked his heels together. And he's like, oh, great. It's going to be more fun than what I usually have been doing. Yeah. All I got to do is pass it to him now.
Yeah. But if you notice, since Austin's been back, Mitch has definitely fallen off in scoring, but Willie has stayed on in scoring. I don't think Mitch.
Well, he had 3 points tonight, though. So
yes.
I don't know. He's not falling off too much.
Sorry, not falling off, but he's fallen off maybe the goal production. He's not on that first line anymore. Well, he wasn't for 2 periods tonight. He was, he was scoring a goal a game for that stretch that Matthews was out.
Well, or we were talking about before we came on, I had that same game parlay where I just needed Mitch Marner to get 1 freaking shot on goal, and I would have won that bet. But it's when he plays with Matthews, which I guess he did for about half the game. He's a very different player. It's he doesn't even care about how close he is to the net. It's okay, I'll just, throw it behind my back and assume Matthews is there, which he often is. They have that kind of chemistry. So it works out well. But I think it was the other night on Monday where he did that move again, where he's in alone. He's got a breakaway. And I think he just threw it back for Nyes. And everyone, when it works well, they're like, oh, fantastic play by Mitch Marner. What creativity and vision. No, 99.9% of NHL players or hockey players, forget just NHL, if they're on a breakaway, they probably think their chances of getting the puck in the net are best with them shooting it, not dropping it back.
Yeah.
But I thought he was good. Nyes was good for me too tonight.
Totally. Nyes is always good for me. Mitchie, number 10 in points in the league right now, ahead of McDavid, who had that injury stint, but ahead of some, really big names.
Right, you say 10th? I think he's top 5 now. You're
Well,
probably looking at it without the 3 assists tonight.
it must be. It must be.
Yeah, it could, because I think he's got 36 points now.
Okay, well, if he's at 36, he was at 33 when I checked, so checks out.
Yeah.
Plus 3 points. 36 puts him in tied for number 4. Wow.
Pay him.
Really? Oh,
No.
I don't know.
No. I just have a feeling that's where Leafs Twitter is going to be tonight. Just give him whatever he's asking for. Just pay the guy already.
I mean,
and
I guess
they might.
Yeah, they totally might. And we've kind of filled in some holes where, our thing in the playoffs is that we're not physical enough. We're getting beat up by teams. We're just not bringing that playoff caliber style that we need to. And we've done some things to our other lines that could sort of boost. Yeah, it won't
The
change
overall physicality.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think we saw like a game like tonight, and I think this is where I worry that it's going to be more of the same come the playoffs, where tonight you play against a team like the Nashville Predators, where they're not a very good team, clearly. And
last in goals for in the
they're
entire
terrible.
league.
They're awful.
Wild, though. They've got some offensive talent. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, after all the investments they made, the offseason acquisitions to be where they are. But like the thing is, like when we play a team like that in the regular season, you give it enough time, Marner, Matthews, Nylander, Tavares are going to find a way to put this team on top and get the win. We've seen it like for many years now. It's not a shock. Problem is you have that same type of low event hockey game against the Boston Bruins or the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
And you're probably not winning that game because Marner, Matthews, Nylander are probably not doing the things that they are able to do in a game against Nashville.
Yeah.
In that game against Boston, where everything is even tighter. Like they won't be able to flip the switch as easily because it's not as open of a game. It's more physical. It's going to be the guys like Matthew Tkachuk, the Barkovs, the Brad Marchands who, are going that extra inch or mile to win that puck battle. Marner, Nylander are not doing that. They won't ever do that. So that's my worry about. Cool, it's looking great now for those guys, but we know it always does. It always does in the regular season. It always does in November and December.
Yeah, we do know that. But one thing I'll say is that we haven't been playing from behind very much this season. Like we haven't had to have our big guys really push the metal to the pedal to the metal for the third period and try to change our circumstance. So I think that's partially the Berube effect, but also we're just a fuller team and defense is much stronger. We're not giving up. We're giving up so few goals. I think we have the second fewest,
something like that. Yeah, second or third. That. The goaltending's been incredible. It's a combination of incredible goaltending and better defensive play. So I agree with you. I think that will make things probably more. We'll work in our favor more because we're not going to be down 2-0 or 3-0 in a playoff game like we've been in the past to say Boston or Florida or Tampa. I think this team, because of how they play defensively and because of how good their goaltending is right now, we're probably more likely just needing Matthews or Nylander to get that one goal as opposed to maybe having a 2-goal deficit where they've got to carry the team on their back. So that will help. But I still just worry about if those guys aren't doing it come the postseason, and we know they mostly haven't done it come the postseason. You're not seeing the depth scoring beyond like Nyes and McMahon when he was healthy. Like you're not seeing any production from the Dewars, the Robertsons, the Lorentz, and you probably won't. So I just worry about that, but maybe it's going to be Domi and Pacioretty and McMahon. Wild.
Until right now, I'd kind of completely blanked on McMahon not being in the lineup. We kind of glazed over him when we talked about
forgotten McMahon.
Sometimes he's not forgotten. Sometimes he's really in there, but obviously not enough for me to remember. But one thing I was going to say for anybody betting, like just talking about the fact that we are allowing the second fewest goals in the NHL, We are, I think, somewhere like the 12th in goals for. You can rephrase that if I didn't say that properly, but
12th highest scoring team. No, you're good.
12th highest scoring team, second goals against. Under is a really good play for us.
It has been in probably 90% of the games for sure.
Yeah.
Like they're playing that low event hockey that, you see most of the over-unders for Leaf games now. You don't see very many 6.5s anymore.
No.
So I think the bets are starting to, or the books are adjusting for sure.
Yeah. So I definitely think that's been a strong play. That's all that I wanted to say there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we probably covered everything from the game tonight. Obviously, on to Friday night where they're at home again against Washington without Ovechkin. Yeah, unfortunately, no Ovechkin. But
that's right.
Yeah. Oh, he'll be out for a while. But
I know.
Yeah, so hopefully that's one that they can win. We'll see what kind of happens with the guys, like the injured players, the Maxes. Do we see one of them back? Does Jake McCabe get back in there?
Well, I'd heard that Jake McCabe was ready to play last game.
He practiced. Yeah.
He practiced, and so did the two matches, the Maxes. They both practiced full contact yesterday or today. So, I guess we're just feeling good about the guys we have. We've got a lot of guys in the mix right now. I think one of the problems that we were experiencing earlier in the season was that we didn't have the forward depth. We were kind of like, proud of our D depth. But now it seems like we're very deep on forward too. Deep in goaltending. Like,
like
nice
the forward
to have.
depth is good. Like I would say you can feel okay if like a Domi or Pacioretty or McMahon aren't available because there's someone who can almost do what they do in terms of replacing what they do on the ice. But it still kind of worries me that anyone outside of the core four and maybe Nyes, like what are you truly going to get from them as far as actual production when the games start, meaning more and you're playing against that top competition? Like it feels like just as we have every year, you're still going to depend on Nylander, Matthews, Marner, JT to get those key goals and key moments.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like we've seen Domi's really struggle to score this season. I think Pacioretty had some pretty nice clutch goals there.
He had a handful. I think he scored like, I don't know how many goals he had, 3 or 4, but I think he got about half of those in one game. But
That's true.
He also has been out for a while. So
yeah, he'll probably, and an older guy, he might take a beat to get back to full speed. But I really liked that line. I really like that line of Domi, Pacioretty, and who is it, Lorentz? Who was the third?
They probably got a little bit of time together. Like, and Max Pacioretty played a JT, and they looked good together. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, obviously now they've kind of got, different either pairs or full lines that Berube probably will keep, whether it's Marner with JT, whether it's Nylander and Matthews. Do that keep going? We'll have to see, but he's got options. And I think these injuries kind of have at least allowed him to see, okay, who truly fits the best with who. And then when everyone else is available to him, he can say, yeah, you know what? I like JT with Mitch. It seems to make us play better. It gives us more balance.
I do like that tandem for sure.
Yeah. But he did go back to Mitch and Austin today, and it worked. So they're all probably going to be talking post-game about, I don't know why we ever separate these guys. Keep going with them. And it's like, don't do it. Don't do it.
One guy that sort of stands out to me as a bit of an outliner on the top two lines is Holmberg, right? Like Holmberg, he's more of a third liner.
He's terrible.
That's definitely a plug for now. And he is terrible. He's
like he looks
not strong on the puck. What's that?
No, you just say he looks better when he's playing with talented players, which is an obvious kind of comment, but like I can handle him or I can deal with him playing, like just playing in general, forget about on the second line. But when he's playing with a guy like Tavares or Nylander or Marner, you're like, okay, he makes a couple plays, he draws a penalty. He's not as much of a liability. But when he's out there with like Kampf and Revo or Domi and Robertson, it's
nothing
like
gets going.
they just all collectively look terrible. And individually, it's like, can really do without this guy right now. And that's the way it usually feels with Holmberg.
Yeah, so hopefully he drops down to line 3. Robertson drops down from the team.
Out completely.
Yeah, and that gives us, one spot to plug in one of the maxes. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see when we get all fully healthy, if we're ever there, to see how the lines shake out.
Yeah. Hopefully it's just a matter of when, but it just feels like when one guy gets back, one other guy goes down. But I mean, I guess it's good to have these problems in December. Yeah. Good to have it happen in December versus March, April. So I'll take it now as long as they get back, either before the holidays or shortly after.
Well, it's kind of looking like the forward injury wave is ending and the defense injury wave is just beginning.
Maybe McCabe and Hockenpah. Yeah.
Hockenpah, and then there was a moment today when Tanev went out. I think he went to the dressing room even, which we don't see a lot. I was a little worried for him.
He pretty much goes to the locker room. I don't know how long it was, but maybe if he went, he pretty much every game, because he's blocking 8 shots a game. So, there's obviously going to be at least one that hurts a little bit more. So he probably just goes to like the hallway, the corridor behind the bench and just kind of walks it off. And then he's right back in there. That guy's a warrior. Love him.
That's such a warrior. Big time.
Okay. So how about we turn the page? Because aside from the Leaf game tonight, there were some exciting announcements with the Four Nations tournament that kicks off in February. So the 4 teams obviously announced their rosters today. We can focus more on Team Canada, of course, but from a Leaf perspective, obviously Mitch Marner made it for Team Canada, the only guy on Team Canada from the Maple Leafs. No Riley, no JT. We had Willie obviously make it for Sweden, Yanni Hockenpah on Finland. Is there anyone? Oh, obviously we know Austin Matthews with the Americans. Was there anyone else? Leaf? I don't think so, eh?
I don't think so.
No.
That's funny. We've got coverage on all 4 of the teams.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll have to watch every game because there's always going to be a Leaf player involved.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
So, how about we take a look? I kind of just have the Sportsnet put out the Team Canada roster. I'm not sure how clear it is for everyone, and we can definitely talk through it for those who will just be listening in for the audio of the podcast. But we're call out the forwards here for Team Canada. So we got Sam Bennett, Anthony Cirelli, Sidney Crosby, Brandon Hagel, Seth Jarvis, Travis Konechny, Nathan McKinnon, Brad Marchand, Mitch Marner, Connor McDavid, Braden Point, Sam Reinhart, and Mark Stone. On D, Cale Makar, Josh Morrissey, Colton Parayko, Alex Pietrangelo, Travis Sanheim, Shea Theodore, and Devin Tays. Goalies, Jordan Binnington, Aiden Hill, and Sam Montembeault. So, I guess just give me your overall opinion of the team. Are you impressed? Do you feel it's not as good as you were hoping for in terms of the finished product?
It's a team. It's a good team. It's not jumping out at me as Team Canada Olympics 2010, Team Canada Olympics 2014.
I agree.
As a national team, I think, hate to say it, this is the worst. This is the least exciting, least flashy lineup that we've put out there in my memory.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds harsh, but I don't think you're wrong there. Obviously it's easy to get kind of, all excited about the top heavy, the big names, we haven't really ever had a star-studded team like this, maybe since 87 Canada Cup with Gretzky and Lemieux. We arguably have the 2 best players in hockey. You could argue Cale Makar makes it 5 or 3 of the top 5 players in the NHL.
McKinnon, McDavid, and Makar are your top 3? Okay.
I would have those 3 guys in my top 5 NHL players. I mean, you could argue is Cale Makar top 5, but he's definitely the top D-man in the league for me, and I think for a lot of people. So not a big reach to say they're all 3 of those guys are top 5. But then it does fall off quite a bit, you know?
Yeah, like I think that we've built our team to be more of a checking team, to bring some size, some physicality over skill, which, you know, that's obviously been a strategy that the Team Canada's going in with. John Cooper at the helm. He's a strong coach, you know, championship caliber, got a couple cups, and taken 3 players from the Lightning. No surprise.
Yeah, probably just a coincidence and just how it worked out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure he didn't have the final vote there and said, Anthony Cirelli, you make it. And look, I mean, I think all 3 of those guys, I mean, Braden Point was an obvious inclusion, but
so small. Anyway,
Oh, Braden Point. He was on the opening, the initial, like when they named their 5 guys or whatever, he was already on there. Like he's definitely a top, I don't know, probably maybe 10, 15 forward in the league. So, yeah, I mean, he's a no doubter for me. But Cirelli and Hagel, I mean, I like both players. But, I guess further to your point, they're going with guys that they're going to trust in certain situations, whether it's penalty killing, whether it's protecting the lead. And I think that they talked a lot about it on the Sportsnet, I guess, unveiling show, and they announced all the teams. That, you know, every game you play, because it's a short tournament, is basically going to be coached like it's a game 7. Where, it's all well and good that you might not have the flashy names or top to bottom, the production and maybe the Americans have. Even the Swedes, I think you can argue, have more top end forward talent, or maybe not top end, but I think top to bottom, more balanced forwards. But I think they're kind of going in with that mentality that, we just might have to find a way to win 2-1 hockey games. Cause if you lose your first game, you're pretty much done. So it's, you know, you have to obviously win out to advance. And I think that's kind of the mentality there. It's like, take the team that helps you win games, not who's the most prolific scorers. Cause guys like Mark Scheifele didn't make it. You know, there's obviously a lot of other names that, you know, John Tavares for one. You could have gone with Bedard. I would have put Macklin Celebrini on there.
Really?
That kid is amazing. Yeah. Wow. That kid is phenomenal.
You would have taken Celebrini over Bedard?
Yep. Yeah, I would have had him over Bedard. I probably would have taken him over Seth Jarvis or Anthony Cirelli. I'm not hating on any of the selections. I think it's generally good. Travis Sanheim is the one that kind of that's an interesting one. He wasn't really on too many people's blue line, you know, before the announcement. So kind of surprised there. And the goaltending, I'm generally okay with it. I don't think Sam Montembeault should be on there, but he's going to be the 3rd goalie, so who cares?
Of our squad of the forwards, there's only 3 players from the West.
Oh, interesting.
Well, we have 4 lines of 3 and then an extra 1 body. There's only 4 players. There's only McKinnon, McDavid, and Stone from the West Conference. And then
so it probably speaks again to maybe John Cooper's familiarity with not only his players, but the teams that he plays most often. And because Seth Jarvis, he's a phenomenal player.
But he's not really in that same style, or he's not of the rest of the guys.
No, he's not
high skill.
He's not flashy, but he's good defensively, good two-way player. So, I mean, Konechny is a guy that I've always liked. I like the way he plays. But, it just kind of feels like they're relying on, obviously, the big names that are going to make up their first 2 lines. And it might be enough. It might be enough offensive capability with those big-name guys, the Sids, the McKinnons, the McDavid. Mitch Marner. But yeah, I think even like a month ago, everyone was like, oh, Zach Hyman is for sure on this team because he'll play with McDavid. Obviously, he's had some injuries and not really good production, so he fell off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, some of these names came as a surprise, but I like the team. As you said, I don't love it. Don't love it.
Yeah. I think what will be really interesting, like you said, there's no warm-up games. There's no kind of round robin style games. You go right into it. We're not going to be playing like a Latvia, Kazakhstan, and Germany.
No.
But what we'll be able to see right away is how physical the games are going to get. And I think it will be very favorable to Canada if guys are out there throwing their bodies, like to to quote Reeves, like with a little intent to inflict pain.
For sure. Yeah, because
I don't know if they're going to. I don't know what. I think it's going to be kind of an agreed upon. Like if they go into this, historical All-Star weekend with the same All-Star weekend caps on, then I don't like our chances much at all. But if we bring that Olympic style of hockey, then I think that we definitely have a chance.
Well, yeah, like I think, it's a good point because I think with the way this tournament is going to go, and I think probably every team built their team along, sort of have that mentality where it's like you're not going to be able to create this like hatred amongst the teams because you're playing them basically one game, and if you don't win, you're done anyways. You're not going to see them again. So you've got to have guys that, you won't have to tell Sam Bennett, hey, when you go out on the ice, we need you to be physical. We need to like hit, play the body.
Guys
that know that that's why they're there.
Okay.
Whereas in the past, maybe if you had, your 12 most talented and offensively gifted forwards, you might need to kind of work that either hatred and kind of, wanting to like battle for pucks and be physical. Like that might be part of the strategy there where it's like, the Konechny's, the Seth Jarvis, the Hagel, Cirelli, they know when they're out on the ice, it's to bang bodies and win puck battles.
Yeah.
If you had more guys a la Mitch Marner throughout your lineup, it might be like, okay, Mitch, we kind of have to get going here. We only have 20 more minutes in this game or we're out. It's game 7, bud. Do what you do best. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I really remember.
Yeah. Like it's kind of funny because like let's try to take it more to a Leaf angle here. Like I don't disagree with Mitch Marner being on the team. I think
looking at the team, I don't, but like in theory, I do.
Exactly right. Like he deserves to be there, as we said. He's top 5 in scoring.
Points, yeah.
You can't not have him in there. But I do wonder because like now that you've got like what we said, you've got kind of that 4 or 5 guys on this team, the forwards that are like high end offensive skill that are always going to be on the ice when you need the goal or on the power play. And Mitch Marner probably will be a part of that. He's not going to be on a checking line with Sam Bennett and Cirelli. So the top 6 is probably going to be something like Crosby, McKinnon, Marchand, McDavid, Marner, and Point. Like those are probably your top 6 guys. I mean, maybe Point plays with like Hagel.
Reinhart? What about Reinhart?
Sam Reinhart could be an option for top 6 for sure. But like Sam Reinhart can play well defensively. He's a great penalty killer.
Yeah,
so he could factor into a third line. And probably a lot of Leaf fans will argue, oh, Mitch Marner, he was up for a Selke. He's really good defensively. He could be on a checking line. No, there's no way they took Mitch Marner to be on a checking line.
No way.
He will get time with Crosby or McKinnon or McDavid.
I think he's the Hyman. Yeah, I think he's the Hyman to McDavid, maybe.
I don't think McDavid would. I don't think McDavid would want to play with Mitch Marner. I think McDavid needs to play with guys who can finish. I think he'd need either a McKinnon there, could be a Reinhart, and I think he'd love to play with either McKinnon or Crosby. Like we're definitely going to see a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if we're not seeing McKinnon and McDavid or
I
Point
know.
Crosby playing with McDavid. So
He
that
was
will
on.
come.
Did you see him on the Sportsnet panel tonight?
I did.
Yeah, and I think
He's-
those were the two guys he called out specifically as, being really excited to play with Crosby and McKinnon.
Oh, he didn't say
And
Mitch, eh?
He did not say Mitch.
He did
no.
not say Mitch. Okay.
But one other question, sort of tangential to this, is who's wearing the C? I guess he even said it's Crosby.
Yeah, they already announced it. It's Crosby.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fun tournament. I think when you look on paper, the US team has to be considered like the best team, top to bottom. They got the best goaltending, probably the best blue line. Forward group, even you could give them the edge, but I would still say Canada probably on top just because of the
McDavid, McKinnon,
the star quality. As we said, you probably got 3 or 4 of the top 10 forwards in the league. You got the top defensemen in the league. So, yeah, I think overall, I would kind of give Canada the edge with forwards.
I would too. I don't think the star power is jumping out at me on Team USA right now in terms of their forward group. I think they're very solid and they've built their team quite like Canada has.
Yeah.
To be, but no, it's amazing the talent so spread out. Well, not spread out, but these 4 nations. If we could make one team, it would be incredible. But
no, there's a lot of talent in the league, and I think it's going to be like amazing hockey.
Yeah.
So if you had to rank the teams in order of their chances to win 1 to 4, who you got?
Well, number 1 and 2 in Vegas is Canada and United States, respectively. So
yeah. So you're just going to go with the books, eh? You're just going to go with the books.
You've kind of convinced me more and more that Canada's a strong contender through this conversation. I think I'll put a little bit of money on United States because I think it's nearly a coin flip between these two teams. Their goaltenders are better than our goaltenders. Blue line looks hella good. But I don't think you can, you can't discount, like you said, the star power we have up front. So just to emotional hedge, I will put money on USA, but I still think Canada has a pretty good chance. And then I'll follow that with Sweden, Finland. What do you got?
Yeah, I definitely have Finland at the bottom. They do have a good team, but I put them at the bottom.
Yeah, the goaltending is a little weak.
For Finns?
Yeah.
Saros isn't, he's not too shabby.
I mean, team's 31st in the league. He's played 21 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think their issue is more they can't put the puck in net, but you're right. He hasn't had the best year.
Correct. Totally correct.
Yeah. The Swedes are probably a team that I would put a little bit of money on.
Yeah.
I think there's value there, and I love their goaltending. Like Gustafsson is probably the best goalie in the league right now. He's playing the best, so I like their chances there. They got a really good D, a big blue line. I think the Swedes, I don't want to say that they'd be my favorite, but would not at all shock me if they win it.
Wow.
Because I think it's just going to mean more. It's going to mean more to them.
Yeah, it will mean more to them.
Yeah.
But who's going to score their goals is my problem.
Willie.
They've got Willie. They've got Philip Forsberg. They've got, Pettersson. Isn't he injured?
He's playing like he is, but I think he's healthy right now.
Zibanejad, Eriksson Ek. I don't know.
Yeah. There's some good players. I'm trying to think who. They got Forsberg, Kempe, Jesper Bratt, Lucas Raymond. It's a pretty good team. For me, I just like their goaltending in blue line.
Me too.
That blue line is fantastic.
It is. It's incredible.
Hedman, Forsling, Rasmus Anderson,
Carlson's meh, but he's
still offensively,
Who's the captain for Sweden?
Hedman, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's Hedman
or Carlson. I would assume.
I think it might be Hedman. I think he got it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think it's going to be a fun tournament. It's going to obviously be very weird. The whole it's Canada Sweden is the first game. And
oh no, really?
yeah,
I was hoping for Finland. I
yeah,
guess I don't know.
So like pretty much the Americans have a bye. They get to play Finland.
Well, you know what? Like on your first game, and that's a no-lose situation, Finland. Like maybe we actually caught a break there by not playing them first game. If we're gelling, if we need to gel a little bit, because the format, for those that don't know, you play 3 games, you get 3 points for a win in regulation, you get 2 points for a win in overtime or shootout. It's a 10-minute overtime, and you get they've staggered it a little bit, so it's not your classic 3 points for. You're not your classic 2 points for a win, which I think is good, because what are you going to do? Go down to
in a short tournament, you have to have that
and like goal
disparity.
differentials as the tiebreaker. I think that's so unfair,
right?
And it might prevent teams from pulling their goalie and just going for the tie. Like all these factors, sort of come into play, which alters your gameplay, maybe your strategy.
Yeah,
so
100%.
It's so you have those 3 games, and then it's a 1-game final. So there's no playoffs. There's no semifinal situation. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I was saying, like, there's no chance, there's no opportunity to build up this like animosity or hatred against any one team. There's no carryover effect.
Well, there's just one team that plays twice. You only play one team twice.
Yeah.
And I think if we're going to be in a good position in the NHL going into February, I don't really want our 4 best players playing more than 4 games in a very cutthroat.
Yeah, from a selfish perspective, I'd rather not them. Obviously, they can't all be eliminated early, but it would be nice if we didn't have to worry about injuries there. But it's going to be a fun tournament. It's obviously a very short, quick tournament, but I think the high-end talent they have is going to be incredible, and I think they kind of made the right call to just keep it within 4 teams. Like, everyone's going to say,
Russia.
Like, how do you not have, like, Leon Draisaitl or Nikita Kucherov if it's a best-on-best tournament? Well, sure, fair, but, do we really need to see Leon Draisaitl and Team Germany get pasted?
What we could have done is the rest.
Canada?
We could have done, like, the rest style thing. But
but I hated that when they did it the last time, where they had like Team Europe and then they had the Young Guns team, because then it was like, well, like, how do you have, like, you got like Americans and Canadians playing on one team, and then you have a Team USA and a Team Canada? I didn't like that kind of mix. I realized they had to do it, but I wouldn't want that again.
But to your point, it does leave out players that should be in something like this.
For sure.
And not to mention the Russians who, I was listening to a podcast today, and they said, let's think back, international tournaments we've had. Did they not play during the Cold War? Did they not play, we had the Miracle on Ice all happened during the 80s.
Yep.
Like, and I don't want to make any kind of geopolitical assertions here, but what I'm saying are political. But what I think is that it does foster rivalries, or you create enemies. Like, it would be interesting for fans to really want against a Russian team, right?
For sure. It does make the tournament feel like it's lacking. But I think that kind of, acceptance of who won't be there, whether it's Czechia, Russia, Germany, whoever, like Slovakia, it's tough that those teams aren't there, because there are some phenomenal players on those teams, but there's no doubt I guess I wouldn't say no doubt. I was going to say you have the 4 best teams, but that's not true. If you was the 4 best, you would have Russia in there.
Probably. Well, it's tough.
Yeah.
That is a tough. Finland's definitely risen, and they've won tournaments. Like, didn't they win the World Juniors somewhat recently? Maybe I'm wrong.
It could have been a World Juniors or a World Championships. But Finland's always been a great hockey nation. So you could definitely make the argument they're in that top 4. But I think if you put all the best Russian players and gave Russia an opportunity to compete in that, they would probably be in the top 4 teams, probably even top 3, I would say.
Yeah,
so
just with Shesterkin alone, I think they go into the top 3.
pretty much. Yeah. No, I think they would have a really good team, really good forward group for sure. But yeah, it's going to be a fun tournament. We'll see what our boy Mitch does.
That'll be great.
To see.
Do you know where, obviously the tournament's being held in Montreal and Boston. Do we know what the split is, or who gets the first games, who gets the final games kind of thing?
I think they're kind of like rotate. I know Boston has the final.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know kind of the, I assume they're going to make sure the Team Canada games, the preliminary games, at least a couple of them when they're not playing the U.S. will be played in Montreal, and the U.S. games obviously in Boston. But beyond that, I'm not really sure how they're dividing it. I guess they did it some way so it's an even amount in both cities. So it will be fun. It will be fun to see, like, especially for Montreal hockey fans to actually see meaningful hockey. They get to see meaningful hockey.
That's a nice job. Do they start Montembeault in Montreal?
That would be a nice little gift for them, eh?
Well,
I don't think you can afford to do that because you can't lose any game, really. I mean, maybe you can lose one game, maybe, depending on how the breakdown is, whether you're getting the regulation win.
2 teams are definitely going to lose one game, right? Actually, I don't want to get into this, but yeah. If one team wins all games, then 2 teams
probably start to get into too much math that we're both not capable of doing at this late hour. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it either 2 teams lose or more than 2 teams. There can't be a situation where only one team loses one game.
That feels accurate. That feels accurate. Yeah.
I don't want to get too deep into that, but that's what my brain's telling me right now.
Yeah. I mean, because it's a fun wrinkle with the 3-point games and stuff. So that's probably there to make sure that all 4 teams have a chance. But yeah, obviously, if you lose your first 2 games, you're clearly done.
Yeah. You're good night.
You can't make the final with a 1-2 record. I know that math will work. Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be exciting to see. No Montrealers, I don't think made. It's Suzuki. Suzuki's on the roster.
No, he's not.
Isn't he? Sorry, you're right. I was looking at something that was notable misses.
Yeah,
so
the only Habs player, Caulfield missed. I think Laine made it. No.
Oh, he definitely made it for Finland. You see, he scored last night in his return.
Yeah, and it looked like they had won the cup. You're right.
So actually, goal. Joel Armia also made it forward on Finland and Patrick Laine. So that's good. At least they've got like 3 Montembeault that I'm finding right now.
Yeah,
I was trying to see if there was any team that didn't have anybody make it, and I have been unsuccessful so far finding. Sharks. There's a player from the Sharks that made it. Who was it? But Carlson made it from the Ducks.
With the Columbus Blue Jackets, Zach Werenski made it.
Werenski's made it. Who else should we check out? Utah, a couple players made it from Utah Hockey Club.
Yeah, I know. Oli Mata made Finland.
You see Välimäki.
Yeah, very nice pronunciation. That was probably spot on.
Sens Tkachuk.
The guy.
What about Blackhawks?
Blackhawks have a couple guys. I think Teravainen made Finland. Yeah. But the guy that's interesting from a Toronto Maple Leaf perspective, given that he's not able to play right now, is Hakanpää.
Yeah.
He made it. I mean, maybe he's the 7th defenseman, but he's on IR right now and unable to play. That seems like kind of risky to select him. Maybe they felt he was that much better than the 8th option they had, but that's kind of surprising. He can't get on the ice, but you're selecting him now.
Yeah, no, it's very true. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say there. He hasn't been too we haven't seen him too much on the ice for a Leaf, but he's a huge guy, good
Yeah.
shutdown D guy. Maybe they need a player like that. They're going to be packing some taxi squad guys in case people.
Yeah, I
can't-
mean, I guess you can always replace him if I think they can, even the day of the first game, they can add a guy to the team. So I guess they're
Wow.
not too worried about it, but I'm just more thinking like, okay, you've obviously got a lot of faith in the guy. Like
Yeah.
right now, I don't think the Leafs would even have that much faith in Hawk and Paul playing for them right now.
Yeah, they're not going to fly him to like the island this weekend.
No.
I mean, no, I'm not putting him on the roster for the island. On hot, just building off what you said about the surprise Hockenpah, no Stellars, I thought was,
Yeah, that's
that's-
tough. The Americans are so deep in net, like as good as, and you obviously
Man.
weren't going to say you thought Wool should be there, right? You
no
only think
way.
Stolar should have been
No.
there.
I thought
way.
Stellars. Yeah, I've got a bit of a
You have become, Caroline, you have
Stellars
become
slant.
a Wool hater. You have
I
become
am.
a Wool hater.
I was always.
I always was. I always will be. Yeah.
That's until he wins us a cup. I'm going to be ugh.
Oh,
But
okay.
Swayman is having one of the worst seasons ever.
He's been bad. Yep.
He's been
Yep.
really bad. And
Mhm.
Stellars hasn't been given a big chance under Bobrovsky. And we don't know what he's capable of, right?
Well, and I think you just answered your own question. That's probably why he's not on the Americans team, because they,
okay.
as well as he's playing right now, you don't know. And if you need to go with him, you've got obviously valid about Swayman's awful year so far, but we've seen what he's done obviously before this year.
Second round.
Fair enough. But then you got like Ottinger and Hellebuck, probably arguably the two best goalies in the NHL, along with Igor Shesterkin would be in that conversation. But
Gustafsson, to your point.
Gustafsson, he's been really good.
Wild.
Yeah. Love that guy. He's really good. But I mean, I think, going to be a fun tournament. Going to be fun. We haven't seen best on best in a long time.
I'll take it over All-Star blibbity blah anytime.
It's crazy that other than in the World Juniors and maybe played a World Championship, we haven't seen McDavid play in a big international tournament for Canada. That just boggles my mind for how long it's been. Well, McDavid and McKinnon. We haven't seen both of those guys play for Canada in a meaningful hockey tournament other than the World Juniors.
Yeah, because the number of core memories that we have about Crosby in that role for Canada, Captain Canada. Yeah, McDavid's never been given that opportunity, really.
For sure. Yeah, like if you're McDavid, you're probably you look at Crosby and he's obviously this Canadian hockey god because he's had that moment,
Yeah.
Whereas McDavid probably could have been in that same kind of tier of greatness for Canada internationally, but he's never had the ability to do it.
I think hockey fans put him there, but he's been pretty removed. He's playing in the West, he's playing in Edmonton. He definitely hasn't had the exposure, the coverage, let's say, that Crosby had all the way. Yeah,
for sure. Well, and Sid obviously had the team success too. He had with the Penguins winning the 2 cups. So he obviously had that going for him as well.
Yeah. No, I really can't wait. It's gonna be great. And I just hope that the style of hockey jives with the team that we're putting forward.
Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting to see because obviously, as we said, it's gonna be this game, all of a sudden, first game, puck drop, this game matters. And we'll see who kind of responds quicker, who's built the best team that can kind of execute, because it's not going to be, there's no feeling out process when you have to basically win every game.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun hockey.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I think we did a good job covering the game in 4 nations, and we're an hour in, so I think we're good to go. But we got 2 more Leaf games this week. So we're chat to see what we're thinking for post game, and hopefully we can be back on and Leafs can keep the win streak going. That would be nice.
It'd be very nice. What are we riding right now? 3? I guess
Are
3.
we 3? I think it
We
would be
lost
3,
to
right?
Florida last Wednesday, but it feels
Yeah,
like
but
more.
then beat Tampa. Yeah, Tampa, Chicago. Yeah, 3
Yeah.
3 games. Well, but they
Take it.
don't lose like 2 in a row. Like
No.
that's
No.
what's keeping them at the top of the standings. And now they're what? 3 clear of Florida or 2? 2 clear of
Well, I don't know if
Florida.
this has been updated. It looks like we're one.
Yeah, we got 1 game in hand and we're 2 points clear.
Really? Okay, this
Yeah.
is behind. They need to update this on Google.
Yeah.
But if
You got to go to NHL.com.
I know,
Caroline.
I
That's
just
the
Googled
source.
it really quick. It was the first result.
Fair.
But
Fair.
I'm just trying to, if we're looking at first round playoffs today, it looks like, who would we have? Oh no, sorry, it has updated. Yeah, we're 30. It has updated just now. Refreshed. I think we are looking at, well, the Capitals have more points than us, eh?
Yeah, Capitals are tied with New Jersey, but New Jersey's played 3 more games.
So we'd get the fourth wild card, or we'd get the first wild card spot. Oh goddamn. It's either Lightning or Rangers.
Flyers. Could be Flyers.
Flyers
have
and
been
Rangers
hot.
are tied. Flyers and Rangers are tied, 27 points. And Lightning's just ahead at 26 points.
Yeah, so we would actually get the Rangers then, yeah. Because it would be Washington and Philly. Washington would get Philly because they're the lower ranked team, Philly. So we would get the Rangers. That's a tough first round matchup.
That's no kidding, eh? You don't want the Rangers first round.
To play Igor and
No, you don't want any of these teams though that we could potentially be looking at. Like, I guess I'd be fine with the Sabres, be fine with the Red Wings, the Flyers. But when you're getting down into it, the Lightning,
know.
Hurricanes.
It goes without saying that the year, and I'm not even saying we will, but if the Leafs do finish in first, it will be the worst possible year to finish in first in terms of like the matchup. Like it may work out for the first seeded team every year after, and probably did before.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Because it's the most Leafy thing where like everyone keeps saying, oh my God, we've got to finish in first in the Atlantic to finally avoid a tough first round matchup.
No.
So we're going to finish in first and then we're going to play the Rangers or Tampa.
Well, I think your thesis there is that the East is so strong, right?
Well, yeah, it's a lot of that too. But even like last year where you had the Rangers who were the first seed, they played a weaker Washington team. Who probably had no business being in the playoffs. So it worked out well for them. I don't think I worry that it won't work out well for the Leafs. They're finishing first and watch. It's going to be like Florida or something.
I know.
That would be something.
So bad.
Yeah.
Well, all we can do is control our own fate. We can't control what the other teams do. And
that's it. Yeah. Control the controllables. You got it. All right. Well, great chatting. Great dub tonight for the team. And thank you, everyone, for joining. And we will chat soon.
Yeah.
Enjoy your night, guys.
Bye.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water. Don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.